Hi, this is Jim.
And this is Omad.
And we play in a band called At the Drive-In. And right now you're watching...
You're watching it. You're not listening to it. You're watching
it.
Regeneration
TV.
Yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails.
We're really pleased to have you guys right here with us right now. The first question I wanted to ask is, since Relationship of Command has come out, do you feel that your lives have changed or developed, and in what ways?
I think, yeah, for sure. I mean, life changes either way, you know, but definitely the record's had some impact on our lives. We're a lot busier now, and, you know, we can, making the move from an indie to a major allowed us a little bit more freedom as far as taking time off to write last year and being able to pay rent, and having the time to make a record that we really believed in. So it has definitely given us some options, and it has changed a lot of things, I think.
It's given us the opportunity to go to a lot of places maybe that we wouldn't have been able to go to before, and reach a broader audience, and meet some pretty amazing people along the way. So
That's cool. It seems like that you guys have a pretty strong DIY ethic, and you shoot your own video and put together your own video footage for your video. You encourage people to organize themselves. How do you deal with the pressures that challenge that DIY ethic? Being with a major label or...
Well, I think a good advantage of being on Grand Royal is that it's run by people that understand artists pretty well. I mean, not just Mike D and the rest of the Beastie Boys, but also Gary Gersh and John Silva, which are now, they manage Sonic Youth and Foo Fighters and Beck and Beastie Boys, and those are all bands that I think do things their way quite a bit. And it's good for us because they've been around a long time and they can give us a lot of insight. And we try to keep an open mind to stuff, but at the same time, if we feel uncomfortable with anything, we just say no. And we signed with a ton of creative control. We own half of everything, half the masters, we get half the royalties. We have a 50-50 split with them. So it's a partnership, and it's a relationship where we're learning how to do things. And if we ever feel overwhelmed, I think we just take a step back and say, okay, we need to take a break here, and we need to really figure out what we're doing with our band and with our music. And if this is something we feel is right, then we'll do it. And you only get smarter from being open-minded, I think. So we try to stay open-minded and just deal with it on a day-to-day basis, I would say.
What would you define as your genre of the music that you write and play? Because I once heard someone say that you guys are the Stanley Kubrick of punk rock.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
That's what we're gonna call ourselves from now on.
Wow, that's pretty.
So how does that sit with you? Or
yeah, I think we always have discussions about being cinematic, about being not theatrical but cinematic, like the big wide open shot of the ocean. Like when we write a song, maybe that's what we're picturing, maybe that's what we see. So we tried to do a little bit of that on this video, and we're gonna do a whole lot more of that. A lot more. We talk about Stanley Kubrick or Fellini when we talk about making videos, and so I mean that's a totally nice compliment. But the fact that people have to struggle to figure out where to pin us is a compliment in itself.
Absolutely.
We don't.
I think we've always considered ourselves just a rock and roll band, if anything, because it's pretty vague and
sort of the easiest one to get away with.
Right.
Without pigeonholing yourself.
Do you guys consider yourselves political rockers at all, or do you not like that sort of tag?
We're definitely not a political band because, like I've said in other interviews, Tony was born and grew up in Beirut, Lebanon, and has had civil wars and has an ongoing struggle with Israel, and they're fighting and bickering, and that's something that I'll never understand completely. I'll never understand it like he does. And I think it's the same for all of us. Like I grew up Anglo in a very predominantly Hispanic world, so I have things inside of me that aren't the same for these guys. Omar's from Puerto Rico. He has a whole different take on it. And so I don't think we could be a political band, but we're definitely all political people. And each of us has our own causes and our own things that we like to talk about or participate in. But it wouldn't be fair for the band to take on one banner other than just basic humanitarianism, I think, which we can all get along with, we can all agree on.
Do you ever go back to Puerto Rico?
I used to go back every summer till I was like 18. So I'm 24 now, so I haven't been there in a while. But I mean, when I go home, it's, you know, my family lives the same way. They only talk to me in Spanish. We only eat Puerto Rican dishes. There's only salsa music playing at home, so it's pretty much the same.
The military bombing in Vieques are you involved in that at all?
Not really. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not. Somebody asked me that after we played the free show there at the college, but yeah, I don't really follow politics that much myself.
Your label as a digital download.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out what you guys' thoughts were about Napster, and I know that you guys are Metallica fans too. I wanted to find out what you thought about Lars and
I think it's unfortunate that somebody that's in a creative position is being so anti-creative. I mean, I don't know him, and I don't know his whole point of being mad at Napster. But I don't really see how Napster could do anything but turn kids and people onto music. And I mean, mixtapes, and college radio turned me on to all of the stuff that I'm into. You know, that's what started my whole process.
Not to mention the fact that that's how they got their start. You know,
exactly.
Like their first tapes were just demos that people
passed around
and recorded, and they got this huge following in San Francisco. And
you know, it's 20 years later, and this is how it's being done now.
Bickering over money, exactly.
Yeah, you can't.
It's evolution.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with it. I mean, no matter how much research they do that says people buy it or don't buy it, or it turns the music on to people, or it promotes record sales, I don't think that's even important. I think it's important that people are listening to music. So
Somewhere along the line, they seem to have forgotten, you know, their roots or what's.
Wrap it up for a second. Sorry to interrupt.
Or what's truly important.
Sorry. The production manager has to get clearance, and they're not sure how you guys were let in the building because we didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
well, just go outside then.
So sorry.
Yes, this is the campaign slithered in jails in the cargo bay.
We're back with you guys. We had to move the interview outside, so it may be a little noisy, but we're back. It's Matt D from Regeneration, and I'm with a couple members of At the Drive-In, and we were just talking about Napster and you guys' feelings about Lars, and basically that I guess Napster you feel is a good tool for people to just trade music.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. People should be open to it. And as far as downloading our record digitally, I'm super excited about it. I think it's neat. It's new technology. It gives kids a creative chance to make their own record covers out of our artwork. And there's several different things you can do with it. And I think it's cool, personally. It's something I would definitely been into if I was, 10 years younger than I am and understood computers, which I don't.
Yeah, they were saying that it's basically the same thing as when deck-to-deck taping first became popular.
Exactly. There's always the people who can't afford records and need to be turned on to music through mixtapes and whatnot. So.
Has the inspiration to write music become easier or harder with the popularity of the band getting bigger?
It hasn't. I don't think it's affected us so far at all. But then again, we're really not that popular. It's sort of a myth. Yeah. We don't quite understand it.
Yeah, we're building the myth right now.
No, it's awesome. I mean, there's just been a lot of press and a lot of stuff going on about us, but it really hasn't equated to selling a ton of records, which we're totally fine with.
Right.
We're very happy just doing what we do, and whatever happens, happens.
Could you tell us what happened with the security guard in Philly?
Go for it.
Oh, he was just a jackass. I had lost my pass and whatnot, and I walked by him to put somebody in on the guest list, and he kind of started, he started being an asshole to me, and I'm not even really sure why. And he had seen me earlier in the night or whatever, and when I walked away from him to go towards the booth to try to get someone on the list, he just started calling me a faggot and a cocksucker, and a lot of these homophobic terms, and the only thing I told him was I was like, wow, you're a real decent human being, man. I'm glad you're in charge of security. And then he went off on this. That's what your mother said when I fucked her last night, that spick whore. And so I kind of tried to ignore him, and everyone else was tripping out on him, because he was just yelling at the top of his lungs. And I went to walk past him, and and he shoved me out of the way with one big arm. I told him, look, dude, I'll go get a pass from our tour manager, but I don't deal with people like you. Like, I don't talk to racists. And so I walked by him, and then he hit me in the back of the head. And the guy was like 6'4" or 6'5".
No, like 6'10".
Like 6'10". He was
bigger than anybody on our
huge.
tour.
And he was an older guy, with white hair and gray hairs, and
Possibly an off-duty cop working.
No, he was a
school
school
teacher.
School teacher.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So he punched me in the back of the head, and he roughed me up and lifted me by my jacket. I knocked his glasses off of his face, and then he just started hitting me and pulled me out of the club and out to the curb by my hair. And he had 3 people. He had Derek from the Murder City Devils, who's a pretty big guy himself, trying to tackle him, and they couldn't take him down. So I pressed charges against him, and hopefully it'll be, I filed a personal criminal complaint, and hopefully I'll have a lawsuit against him. So.
Right on. Yeah. You guys have run into any other problems like that through your tour?
Oh, we totaled the van.
We flipped our
Flipped the van. I was in the other truck, so I missed the whole thing.
We did 360 on the freeway, hit the side, and flipped over. None of us were hurt. None of us had broken bones or anything.
It's amazing that you
Yeah.
guys walked away from that.
Totally.
It's been a pretty crazy tour.
I got my head put through a window.
You got a cigarette put out on your face.
I got a cigarette put out on my face.
This is the punkest tour ever.
Have you run into any assholes or just?
There's been some
People are just
kind
strange.
of some a little obsessive people we're starting to find here and there, and you meet like just whatever. Like, have you seen Meeting People's Easy, the Radiohead movie?
Yeah.
Remember the part where he's like, is there a Radiohead party here? And he's walking down the street, and the guy's like creep, motherfucker, come on, motherfucker, write me a song. Like, just those people are just idiots. I don't know where they come from, but they're there. They're always around, It's scary.
Yeah.
It's totally scary. I just tell them not to be weird and walk away, hopefully, and they don't hit me or anything. But
I had this one thing happen to me that was pretty cool. When we were at Minneapolis, it was like 3 a.m, and I was walking to this cafe, and these guys, they drive by, and I was kind of scared. They roll down the window, and they stop, they roll down the window, and they go, "Your new album sucks, motherfucker," and they drove off. And I was like, right on, man.
Yeah, that's the best compliment.
Yeah, totally.
it's pretty nice when you can walk down the street and someone not only knows you, but knows you enough and feels comfortable enough to come up and say that you suck.
Yeah.
They feel moved enough.
The thing is that they don't know that we've been on tour with Rage, and we got way worse by thousands and thousands of people that hated us. So
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty used to it by now.
How was the tour with Rage? Is that
It was like 10 times the size of playing with AFI and Good Riddance when no one knew who we were, and we used to walk onto stage and people would just be like, "Faggots!" And you're like,
Start
"What?
Throwing shit at us.
We haven't even played yet. Come on." But the same thing would happen there. It's the same. It's meathead mentality, like closed-minded meatheads. We're not gonna waste our time worrying about them. We're just gonna turn up. That's it.
It's truly a great thing to get hit by your own CD.
Yeah.
To have your own CD thrown at you and just get hit on the head, it's like, there's no other feeling quite like it.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Are any of you guys involved in video production, or 'cause I know you guys did your own video?
We just always mess with it.
Yeah.
Like we have a camera on the road, like that one, kind of.
We just play around with it.
Yeah, we just have fun.
Just like you say, the DIY ethic. If you want to write a book, and you type away and you Xerox it, and if you want to put out a record, then you record on a 4-track and you make mixtapes and on double decks, and if you want to film a movie, then you buy a camera and you
Or you
have a
borrow
bunch of
a
your
camera.
friends, or you borrow a camera and you have your friends goof off.
Just don't
so.
steal a camera. That's all I ask.
It's refreshing to see a music video that's not made by a major movie director or editor or production company.
I think we try to run our own shit as much as possible. It makes you tired, but I think it's worth it in the long run.
I think it's inspirational for a lot of kids out there. I think that's what
I hope so.
gravitates them towards your guys' band.
We're just paying back the bands that made us want to do this. To me, it's respect.
Who are your guys' biggest influences?
No, everybody from Zeppelin
Biscuit to
No, everybody from like Zeppelin to Fugazi to
Gang of Four and
Thelonious Monk, like
Gus's Pablo,
it's good music.
Ronnie Size,
U2, R.E.M.
salsa music, Johnny Cash,
Miles Davis.
craft work. Let's stop. Because we could
yeah,
go
we
on
could go on for a
forever.
really long time.
But, you know, we've taken in from everything.
In the van, does everyone have their own headphones on, or is the van playing one song that everybody's listening to?
It depends. All the CD players got stolen in New York along with the TV, so. And then,
But I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
You know,
it is
we
a
all
little
have
bit.
our own players, but CD players. But then there's those times when somebody puts in that tape and everybody just kind of puts them down, you know, and
turns
goes
it
like,
up and
right
we all
on,
sing
you know?
along and we all, yeah. It's awesome.
Like friends on a road trip, you know. It's cool. It's all it ever is.
Well, I guess that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for
Thank
giving
you.
us an interview today.
Thanks a lot.
Right
All
on.
right.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right.
See you.